cold. So cold. Okay guys, so it's obviously open to everyone. Dan's got the mic, so we'll start with Gary first and then we'll go to Mike. But Gary, if you want to get us off and underway.
Hello David, thanks for your time.
Hi there.
Great to see Jarrod out there training. I assume he did the whole training session. Can we expect to see him involved tomorrow night?
No, it was great to see Jarrod out there. It's the first time we've had him back out. Not sure yet. Not sure. We had Calvin out today as well. I'm not sure about him either. Alfonso, I've had him out as well, but I'm not sure about him either. So they'll all be pretty late calls tomorrow.
The fact that Jarrod is obviously an extremely important player for you, and this is an extremely big game, perhaps the biggest game so far in your season, would that be a factor in your thinking about whether to risk him if he was borderline or not?
Well, we'd never risk any players if I thought they were the chance of injury or it wasn't right. I think the players' welfare is always the most important thing. But I think the answer generally, you always want your best players back in. Obviously, I want goal scorers back in as well, and Jarrod's been that for us this season.
And am I right there? Is this the biggest and toughest game potentially of your season so far?
Well, normally comes the end of the season where the biggest games come, because if you're playing big games at the end of the season, it's been that you've been relatively successful because you've got to play good teams or other teams who've done the same thing. So yes, it was a huge game for us against Leverkusen last week, and we'll get another big game on Thursday evening.
But what you love about football, if you're involved in football nights like this, and the London Stadium under floodlights as well.
Yeah, I think I think when you're getting words like quarterfinals and semi-finals, etc., is exciting. Obviously, the finals what you want to get to and win it. But I think you've got to go through all the process to get there. We have to go through the process, and it'll be a difficult game, but something which we've got belief that we can find a way to try and make it.
Mike?
David, what's the best comeback that you've presided over as a manager? We were talking to Lucas earlier on about that Tottenham game.
Yeah, that would be. I'm glad you mentioned it because I might not have thought any other than that. Yeah, that game, that was an incredible comeback that night. I just remember Lanzini's goal in the last minute, really. So it's difficult to remember, great comebacks. There's been a few in my career, but thinking off the top of my head just now, I can't quite get one.
It's a strange world where you win one of only 5 trophies in West Ham's entire history, where you finish 6th and 7th in the Premier League, where you get to a semi-final one season, win a trophy the next season, get to a quarter-final in Europe this year, and you're perceived in some quarters as being under pressure. Do you feel under pressure?
Not at all. But as a manager, you have to accept it. Your job is like that. So I'm really enjoying my job. It's been really good this season so far. It's been great. We've had lots of ups, some downs as well, but in the main it's been really positive.
Well, Shane?
Hi David. Just off that Tottenham game, does that give you a lot of belief for tomorrow? Because I was looking back on the stats. It was actually 3-0 to Tottenham with 10 minutes to go.
Was it?
Yeah.
Well, I said to somebody earlier that you have to say we went to Leverkusen and it got to 83rd minute. Before they scored the first goal. It might take us that long before we can do it, but we have to have that patience and that level of trying to find a way of winning the game, or certainly get myself back a couple of goals in front before the end of 90 minutes. So we'll try and do it. We'll do everything we can to do it, but also we'll need to be careful, mindful how we do it, not overexpose, but do a good job. We've done a good job at Leverkusen for long periods, but obviously we couldn't quite see it through.
Obviously you'll be out without Emerson, Paqueta, maybe Bowen, touching guard you just mentioned. Against Seville, it was Yarmolenko who was the unlikely hero. Is that your message to the team? One of you could be a hero today.
Yeah, it's a really good point, because I think it is, and I think the European games quite often, substitutes make the difference, or somebody scores a goal which can change the game completely. I think Pablo might have come on as a substitute in Alkmaar last year, and Pablo Fornals came on and scored the goal, which got us sort of safe in getting to the final last year. So I think it can happen, and you never know who that could be.
Check.
David, you would have seen the images and video of Leverkusen celebrating from the weekend. Any sort of hopes from your side that they might have overindulged a tiny bit?
The truth is, I didn't see anything from the. I'd read that they'd won the league and whatnot, and they won the game convincingly. But I've not seen anything other than what I read, actually, and rightly so. Why would you not celebrate? To be the champions, you should celebrate. You should enjoy it, because the moments go very quickly. Hope they've been drinking those big giant glasses of beer that size that they get in Germany.
A couple of hangovers still lingering. Mike mentioned it in terms of the success you've had, and still there being some pressure around, and there's obviously a decision to be made at some point over your contract, whether it gets signed. Do you think tomorrow night has a significant bearing on that?
No, I don't think so at all. Well, unless not got a bearing on my decision. No, let's be fair. It wasn't too long that we were talking about trying to avoid relegation.
John?
James Ward-Prowse said that he maybe showed them a bit too much respect in the first leg, and Lucas has been saying need a bit more bravery, but the stage is set for all that, I assume, to be a different sort of West Ham.
I think that I still believe that you're playing against one of the best teams in Europe at this moment in time. If certainly a team which are going to be in the Champions League next year look as if they would be quite comfortable in that company. When you look at the way Dortmund have performed last night, and Bayern Munich are performing at the moment, and this team are above them in the league. So I think we should give them respect, and we'll try and do our best tomorrow night to not to give them too much. But ultimately, I think they deserve the respect because of the results.
Do you disagree with what was said then? That you think that's an unfair?
With what?
With too much. That West Ham did give them too much respect.
No, I think we respect every team, but I think it would be hard not to respect a team who's 15 or 16 points clear in the Bundesliga.
Better than Bayern Munich. It's quite a yardstick, isn't it?
It's a thing. Bayern Munich are normal. The German. So not much more than we do, but probably most years Bayern Munich and maybe Dortmund have been favourites over the years. So they've done a brilliant job, Leverkusen, to overtake them.
So it could be another cagey game. I mean, obviously the first goal is extremely important.
Yeah, you never know in football how the games are going to go. Obviously we have to do a really good job on them if we can. We've done a good job in the first game, not quite enough. And it's the thing when we play the big teams, you play Arsenals or Man Cities of this world, you have to find ways of trying to get in results, and we tried very hard last week, we came close, and we'll try again this week.
Malik?
Just to go back to Jarrod, obviously anytime you haven't got your top scorer it's a blow, and anytime you've got him it's a boost, but given you're also missing Lucas, if you do have him tomorrow, how much of a difference does that make in terms of how you can set the team up, what you can go and try and do to hurt Leverkusen?
Well, I think most people know exactly what Jarrod's done for us over the season and other seasons also. So if he came back, it would give us a real lift as well. I think it would give the crowd a lift as well. But overall, we've lost Lucas through suspension, and we've had Jarrod out with injury, so we have to try and find ways of making some magic happen, and we'll have to try and do that tomorrow.
And you mentioned coming from fighting relegation not so long ago. I mean, you've had so much success over the last couple of years, but there's been so much adversity, I suppose, sprinkled within that. It's never been kind of a plain upward curve, if you like. Yeah. Does that help you tomorrow night in compared to, say, Leverkusen have just been flying all year?
Yeah, but maybe West Ham are a different sort of club. This place here has never been smooth at any time, I don't think. I think it's been a club who's bobbed up and down. I think this has probably had its high standing for a long time in the last few years. So the people who watch West Ham and the people who come here will probably know that it's been part of it. That I don't think MD's coming here not to have a smooth time. I think it's always got a tinge of something else about it. It's a club which has been relegated and it has been up and down. but it's never been in Europe 3 times in a row. I know that, and we're plans to try and make it 4.
Any more?
This is a very
last one, Roche.
This is a very random question, but ahead of your team talk tomorrow, do you plan on doing anything different? Whether it's like motivational video package from club legends, family, staff?
No, we're not quite there yet. I think the players have got to keep focusing on what we've done. Obviously, we had a bit of something in the final, but I have to say, no, I think we're focused for the game, try to get everything prepared right, and be as good as we possibly can on the night.
Okay, thanks everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, David.